To check out the stat by your girl Treasure Wilson, aka Stat Baby. We're back at the other location that you guys loved so dearly. So before I introduce my special guests, today we're talking A'ja Wilson. We're talking about DDG and Halle Bailey breaking up. Of course, some football and then some other topics along the way. But before we get started, I've got to give a shout out to our sponsor, Underdog. With Underdog, you can earn money by making picks on all of your favorite players. You can try the app in California, Texas, and New York, and the list goes on. If you want to play along, go download Underdog Fantasy. Use code STAT to get up to $1,000 in bonus cash with your first deposit. And then this week, you can always get a free pick. So there's a CeeDee Lamb free pick for you guys. So make sure you guys download the Underdog app. Use code STAT and make sure y'all sign up. So let's do our Underdog picks on Sunday Fun Day, also Football Sunday. This is a game that I'm super excited for. The Steelers versus the Cowboys. You know, Michael Irvin, I'm on you because this is the game where we go head to head. So Underdog has Dak Prescott at 241.5 passing yards. Y'all already know Steelers defense is good. This is what we do. The last game, Dak Prescott threw for 221 passing yards. Do I think he'll get higher? I don't know. I'm actually going to go lower. I think it's going to be a little bit difficult for him. CeeDee Lamb's at 77.5 receiving yards. Like I reiterated earlier, our defense is not going to make it easy for him. But in this case, I'm going to go higher. He's a beast, so I think he's going to try to show out. And then we got Justin Fields at 188.5 passing yards. Justin Fields had a phenomenal game against the Colts, even though we did lose. He broke some records. I think that this is a game where he can really show who he is and show that this is his team, which we'll talk about later. So more than 188.5 passing yards, I'm going to go higher. They are playing in Pittsburgh. I think the momentum's going to be there. So I'm excited to see how this game is going to go, and I think we're all excited to see what the outcome's going to be. So make sure you guys download the Underdog app so you can make your picks too. Okay, so I have my lovely friends in the room. We got Miss Kiana Dorsey and Miss Sydney Cheney.
Hi.
So the way I'm going to describe this, right, I know we've been trying a lot of different studio locations to see what I like. This one is my favorite too, so I'm happy that you guys like this as well. This is just off location for me, but again, we're going to try to do this format as much as possible because to me, this feels like with me sitting here and my friends here, which eventually we're going to have a face reveal, you guys are entering the group chat. That's the best way that I can explain it. Like, the girlies have a group chat. If you didn't know, we all do.
Check out the group chat.
Check out the group chat, literally. So we're doing things a little bit different this week and next week. Also going to tease that me and my friend will be training like UFC fighters on Monday. So you guys will see that episode next week. Lordy. So we're doing a lot of different things. Sydney, are you excited for that? She's scared. I'm a little scared too.
Pray for me.
We're going to learn some moves, but it's content. You guys know I love to try new things. So again, this right here, you are entering the group chat. So typically I know I would start with sports, which is what I love. And that is dear to my heart because who doesn't want to talk about sports? But the group chat was livid. The group chat was livid, so today we are starting with DDG and Halle Bailey. If you don't know who they are, DDG is a very popular YouTuber. He's been doing the little vlogs for a couple of years now. Halle Bailey, she played the Little Mermaid. They got together. People felt some type of way about their relationship, as we know the internet will, because they always have something to say about something. They got together. Halle announced that she was pregnant. We all supported her pregnancy. The baby, how old is baby? Maybe a year?
Something like that.
Young. Maybe a year.
I think a little older than that.
Maybe a little. It don't feel like it. But basically, yes. So they've been together, and then DDG publicly posted that him and Halle broke up. So this was the message. Kiana's giving me a face right now because she's not feeling this.
I don't believe it.
She just found out the news before we came up on here.
This is all alleged. Thank you.
It's not. I don't think it's alleged. I think it's real. But let me read the message so you guys understand. So, dear friends and supporters, after much reflection and heartfelt conversation, Halle and I decided to go our separate ways. This decision was not easy, but we believe it's the best path forward for both of us. I cherish the time we spent together and the love we've shared. Despite the changes in our relationship, our love for each other remains deep and true. We are still best friends and adore each other. As we focus on our individual journeys and our roles as co-parents, we cherish the bond we've built and the beautiful moments we've shared. As we navigate this transition, we ask for your understanding and support. Thank you for your love and encouragement, DDG.
DD shut.
DD. So yeah.
DJ don't.
So yeah, DDG announced that they are officially broken up. They have both unfollowed each other off of Instagram and deleted all the pictures that they have.
What?
Together.
Damn. Is it that serious?
I guess so.
I thought it was friendly.
Why delete the digital trail, baby?
That's what I'm saying.
Like, we seen you.
I think that goes to and I always got to play the other side. I love these conversations because and this is not even just me doing this for the camera. I'm always the one to be like, well, and they're like, girl, but it's like, you got to look at both sides.
What's the other side? Tell us.
I don't feel another side, but I'm saying the point of deleting the pictures I would feel is just because he wants to show, and I do think the hand goes a little bit more in the man. He wants to show that he's on the market. Like, look, I'm no longer with her. I'm single. No drama. I don't want any drama. If you see me with another girl, that's what it's giving. I'm not with this woman. Pictures are removed. Don't need any speculations. I have made it clear that I am a single man.
That's fair.
I guess.
This is how you know I'm around men too much. Because I just know that's probably the thought process. Like, let me let y'all know right now I am a single man. I don't want her to have any drama or us to have any issues. Now the breakup. How do we feel? Group chat.
I'm sad. I like them together. I thought they were cute.
I thought they were very cute too.
Kiana's like,
I thought they were very cute too. And this kind of brings a bigger issue, but I want to know your thoughts. Not the tears.
But it's like,
I'm not crying. I'm not crying.
He really got her pregnant, said, I'm done.
Like,
hello?
My thing is the baby is fresh.
He is.
I think I need more details because I get couples break up all the time.
What details do you want?
He's
Why?
10 months, by the way.
Who initiated it and why? What changed in 10 months? And also, I don't know if I can say that, y'all.
Say how you feel. Group chat?
Set me up.
Group chat.
This is not the group chat. This is a public chat. Others have entered. I'm going to just say this. I get that relationships evolve and they change and how you feel about somebody evolves. I just think our generation needs to do better at being more picky and moving a little more slow and understanding our priorities. Because I feel like a lot of men of this generation believe that a baby is not the same commitment or is less of a commitment than marriage. And to me, I've never understood that mentality because, yes, marriage is intended to be long-term. But at the end of the day, if that doesn't work out, you guys can divorce and be rid of each other and never have to socialize again. But once you bring a life into this world, that will forever bond you, whether you choose to be present or not. So I just don't understand the mentality. Not saying that, any of this was intentional, but in couples in general, and men who I've seen of this generation in general, are okay with becoming a father or okay with getting their woman pregnant, but still shaking their boots at the thought of a ring. So it's like, I don't understand the mix of priority.
And it's interesting that you say that because a lot of men feel like there is more of a financial responsibility, hear me out, to marriage over children.
That don't make no sense.
It doesn't make sense, but it does at the same time. A lot of men that I've read, seen, spoke to feel as if basically like they would, if they're going to put their money towards something, they'd rather put their money towards the child
than their woman,
than the woman that they no longer care about.
Children are far more expensive.
I agree, but I'm just telling you two different sides. A lot of men, and I'm not going to say I'm not saying all men, but at least for my generation, a lot of men that I've talked to, a lot of men that I've spoken to feel as if they'd rather financially cover their child
than their wife.
Right, but
they'd rather cover a fictitious fetus that is not on Earth yet.
If the baby,
than their girlfriend,
I'm saying
potential wife.
They just feel like women, like because a lot of people feel like it's a financial bond, like with the wife, girlfriend, whatever they're with. They'd rather take care of the child. Even though I think I think it goes together. I feel like you should take care of the child and the wife. A lot of men feel like this is just some women's meal ticket. And I know that sounds crazy when you hear it, but they want to take care of the child separately from the wife. That's my thing. That's also like where I disagree, because I feel like when you become in a committed relationship with somebody, your responsibility is to take care of the wife and the child, right? And if you feel as if
you're getting lost.
No, I'm not. I'm saying a lot of men feel like
But babe,
yeah.
I feel like, can I stop you a moment?
Go.
I feel like, even before we get into that, I'm not saying supporting my family, supporting my future child. I'm not saying none of that.
Yes.
I'm saying you and I, we're feeling each other. We're dating. It's 6 months.
Yes.
It's a year.
Yes.
It's 2. How about that? You would rather buy a onesie than buy a ring. Explain.
A lot of men feel like that.
But I don't understand, because it's like diapers.
It's like crazy. Putting my head in that space, right? They'll feel as if I have a longer bond, obviously, with my child rather than the person who I no longer love.
So you're saying, okay.
But it's like you forever have that bond.
Putting on my...
With your child. With your child. But sometimes...
I see what she's
like,
saying.
I'm trying to explain it the best way that I can.
Put on your man cap. A man cap is like this.
Put on your man cap.
With my kid or my son or my daughter, I'll forever have that
Forever. We are locked in. That is my child.
With this woman, we may not last. I may fall out of love. Like, there's some security with the child. They're like, okay, the child will always be my blood, but with the baby mama, not so much. That's twisted. That don't make no sense. I feel like if you want to lay down with this woman, procreate, have her carry your
child,
your legacy, and then up and one day,
I don't like her no more.
Yeah,
she's alright.
And then that's what happens. Like, it sounds crazy the way you're
do it
explaining
several times,
but that's what happens with different people.
But then you do it
with different people.
You have a litter of baby moms.
Women.
With different people, like, and it sounds like I'm trying to have this conversation in a way that makes sense, because it's like it sounds crazy to women, and some women it doesn't sound crazy. It's like, I get it. If I don't like this man anymore, why do I have to still be?
I'm not saying force a relationship,
and I'm not saying that either. Even though that's a separate take that I have, I do feel like people give up too easily. That is another conversation, because I feel like back then, and don't do anything that's gonna frustrate you. Don't be in a situation that you don't want to be in. But I do think that it's this thing called the ick, right? People get the ick very quickly nowadays, a lot more than they used to. You get the ick, and I understand, because I get the ick. I'd be like, I don't really want to talk to that person anymore.
It'd be the smallest.
Can you describe
things.
what the ick is for some of us?
It could be the smallest things too, where it's just like, ooh.
It's just a little something that rubs you wrong.
Yeah. Rubs you the wrong way,
like way wrong. You're just like,
do you have an example?
Why would you do that? There's like really stupid ones, and then there's like valid ones. Like, what's a stupid one?
Like you wear knee highs.
Yeah.
No, or it can be non-negotiables. It can be political views. It can be religious views.
To me, that's not an ick.
Those
that's
can
not
be.
An ick.
No,
that's
I think those can be icks.
Those to me, an ick is something small that you can get over. Like, you chew your gum really loud.
But to you, it's small. To some other people, it's not that small.
No, treasure baby. Let me stop you. Because we all have friendships. We have people who we're friends with. And everybody gives people icks. Like, there are things that you do, my dear sister, that I'm not sorry for the accents today, y'all. This is my first social interaction of the day. But there's some things that you do that give me the ick, but it's something that's like so minor that it's not worth, like, if you chew with your mouth open, or if you chew too loud, or if you keep your shoes on in the house, like, those are small things that I'm not gonna.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
But if we have political different views, that's not an ick. Like, I'll get over it.
That's just a difference in opinion.
I personally, and this is where we have different opinions, I would consider that an ick, because it's big to me. And I had literally an argument.
We did overshare that the other day.
I literally had an argument with a man over something, and he was like, I don't know why you think that's such a big deal. And I was like, because it's a big deal to me, even though it's not a big deal to you. But because that was an argument in itself, I was completely like, I don't really want to talk to you anymore. There's a lot. Like, I'm not like that.
To me, if it's an ick, it means it's small and I can get over it. If it's a red flag, that means it's something
define
big.
A small thing. Like, everybody has a different definition of what is considered small to them versus what's small to you.
An ick is a pet peeve. a red flag is something fundamentally there that would take a lot of
Like, what's an
conversations.
ick? Like,
But a pet
you
peeve
sag
is-
your pants. Ew.
Yeah,
That's an ick to
yeah.
me. Like, that's gross.
Or
Don't do
like,
that.
or like you cuss a lot. Like, that's the ick.
Yeah.
A red flag is you're a serial cheater. A
Facts.
red flag is you're constantly lying to me. Or a red flag is you believe that something, like some moral thing close to you, isn't true or isn't right. Like, that's like something that we can't really just work through. It's a part of who you are and conflicts with me morally. That's a red flag. But a pet peeve is like, okay, like that's annoying, but it's not it's not fighting my morals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hear you. I still feel how I feel about it.
This
is where we just agree to disagree. Because to me, it's still an ick.
Hello.
There's certain things that I think are a lot more important to somebody, or to me, that is not as important to them. Because I think everybody has a different definition of what is considered a big deal versus not. So
what
for
are-
me, that's one thing.
What are your thoughts?
But
about
we're not going to get into it because we're diverting from the topic.
Copy.
Back to DDG.
I was gonna say, what are your thoughts about
Yeah.
DD and them?
I don't know what they went through. Noticing more and more, like I've talked about even last week with Cardi B and Offset. Like,
Oh, what happened to them? They broke up.
we'll get into that.
Yeah.
Relationships that are public are very different territory, and they're not real life. And I don't want people to mask their relationships and friendships with what people are doing on the internet. And to me, I don't want to be like it's a bad example because they're both very successful and great in their careers, and I wish the best for both of them, and I hope they have a great co-parenting journey. But I feel like when we see a lot of that stuff happens and people don't really like do as much effort to kind of like prolong things, or like something as simple as like a breakup, like a public breakup banner. Like, I just hate that that's been normalized because it's came down to like breakups and relationships are down to your audience's approval. And I just don't really, because even the fact that it's a topic, it's our starting topic, it's warped kind of how we view relationships and friendships.
I don't think so.
I think so, for sure. Because I think when you're especially when you're somebody younger and you're seeing your favorite YouTube couple break, and I've seen so many of my favorite YouTube couples break up
Love is dead.
recently.
It's
See what you
gone.
just love is dead. Like, it warps our view of how we view relationships.
I think it just-
That's the point that I'm trying to prove. That exactly. Like, we see this. Even Summer Walker, she commented, she said, dang, y'all were my last. She said, I don't care, fix it before I give up on love. No, this is what I'm saying.
I see what you're saying. You're saying they're like the model of
What
people put them
what-
on a pedestal.
Exactly.
Okay.
And we
People
see
like
all of them falling apart. And I think everybody 2024 and even going into 2025, F love. Like, these things don't last. Like, because that's what we're seeing.
That's very
People
much so
mock
us
what they see. And I
generation
think
thing
it's been a
now.
really bad representation. And I think people should keep things under wrap until they completely figure things out. Because the thing I'll tell you is if they decide to come back together, then we don't know what's true and what's not, especially because DDG already likes to joke a lot.
But also, we don't know if this is their final straw. Like,
Right.
this, like, to us, it's like, oh, this is the first, whatever. But they could have been working a lot in private, and I'm sure they were scrapping because they have a kid together to make it work.
Right.
So this definitely is probably their final straw. And like you said earlier, they do have to put that out there because if we see either of them with somebody else, it's like we kind of have to know. Otherwise, it'll cause unnecessary drama. Like, oh, you're cheating or you're being
Right.
unfaithful.
Which
we're
I
not.
definitely get that, but I still want to see. Can Halle post it?
What difference
You
does
know
that
she
make?
quiet. She's not gonna post nothing.
Can Halle post it?
What difference does that make?
DDG jokes a little bit too much.
She's
Treasure
very.
box.
She's
Ariel don't owe nothing to you. She ain't a part of your
Yeah.
world.
She's not a part of.
Please don't sing. Thank you. Next.
That is done.
Not it.
Okay, on
Next.
this note, y'all,
Dot, dot, dot.
we're gonna go to break. When we return, we're discussing Asia Wilson, a little bit of football, and we'll bring it there. Welcome back. So we're going to discuss WNBA, but specifically Asia Wilson. So Asia Wilson won the unanimous MVP vote. As you guys know, she's had an amazing season. She plays for the Aces. She won an Olympic gold medal, the single season WNBA points record, the single season rebounding record, and her third MVP. So basically, after she recorded the first 1,000 point season ever in WNBA history, she went viral in a clip where she went back to the locker room and she was bawling, and she said, y'all will never understand how much y'all mean to me because there's days where I hate being Asia Wilson. I hate it, but when I come into work and I see y'all smiling and I see y'all just happy, it makes me who I am. It's very sad because it's like, who would want to be Asia Wilson? Even Asia Wilson sometimes doesn't want to be Asia Wilson, which is crazy to think about. So she did a cover with ESPN where she was asked to clarify that. And a portion of what she said was, as Black women, we grew up a lot of time with our parents telling us, you got to work 10 times as hard just to get a foot in the door, let alone to stand out. I felt that this year more than ever. This year has really shown that you really have to work your ass off in order for people to just even look at you. So when you guys hear that, my fellow Black women.
What was that? Negro spiritual voice.
We just went to church.
MLK, put that back.
Take us to church real quick.
What do you guys think about that statement? Do you relate?
Yes.
Okay.
Next question.
So, I mean, I relate too, and I would like to bring this up because I like to talk about both sides. So basically, when she said that, a couple people had responses. Y'all, I'm finding it on my phone. Okay. They said, 2-parent household, private school, but she a victim? No one watches WNBA. We watching Caitlin Clark. Damn, private school was rough. She went to Cranbrook. That's a private school.
Bro, what?
They're not talking about, she didn't say anything about that. I'm confused.
She has to go to a public school to have a hard life?
Right.
To have struggle? She's literally, she's a public figure in the WNBA.
Right.
That comes with its own scrutiny. And then you add being Black on top of that. Literally, you guys' comments is what she's talking about.
Yeah.
It is.
Point blank. You trying to excuse why she's trying to pardon how she feels. Nobody should have to explain how they feel. It's
y'all
just
can't
that.
hate on her struggle if y'all ain't in her position.
Hello.
Honestly.
Dribble a ball
like,
and let me know.
Y'all go dribble the ball, not her.
Like, don't get me mad. No. That's the exact stuff I'm talking about.
Okay, so I agree with that 1,000%. I don't like when, again, like trolls, comments, and I know you guys are free to say whatever you want and say whatever you want, but don't discredit somebody else's life, their feelings. Like, this is why people never want to open up. Like, again, like I always say, it's really hard getting on a camera and being able to say my thoughts and convey how I feel to people who have never met me in life before. You guys are either going to agree with my takes or you don't. Even my best friends, like, we do agree with a lot of stuff most of the time, but sometimes if we don't, that's okay. We can still respect each other's opinions. If somebody is crying and pouring their heart out and just won all these awards, has this long list of accomplishments, and they finally have the, what's the word? Like, feel the courage to say how they feel, y'all shut it down. How y'all ever expect people to ever open up? Like, y'all will never get to open that second, third layer of somebody, because then it becomes clockwork. It becomes like you're not being able to see who these people really are. And if that's how she feels, let Asia Wilson feel how she feels. Like, she has a book out, go read her book. Yeah. If you're not interested, go watch somebody else. Yeah. Like, y'all
Stop
get on women's sports just to shit on women's sports, and I hate that because we're actually in a point where it's like a big surge of new viewers and new watchers. And I know Caitlin Clark has brought people to the game. And I know that Angel Reese has brought people to the game. Asia Wilson done been around. There's a lot of players before her. We're talking Candace Parker. We already know Diana Taurasi. Like, there's a long list of women who have set that precedent to show that women can ball too. Because at first, y'all thought that women couldn't do the same thing that men could do. And I know it's a little bit different to a certain extent, but they're still out there balling. So if that's how she feels, let her feel how she feels.
Drops the mic.
Because that's a whole nother discussion that we will talk about in another episode, because I do agree. And it's not like, oh, like I want you to feel bad for me. It's never a sob story, but it's her story. And to understand why she acts the way she does, you have to know why she says the things that she says and read up on it. So I get it.
And that's why the internet is such a phony place, because if that girl was crying to you in front of your face, you would have empathy. But because you're sitting on the couch with your big, because you're sitting on because you're sitting on the couch, you know, judging her life, you're able to type nasty things behind the screen, when in reality, if she was your friend, your sister, your cousin, your auntie, you would have empathy for her. So I just feel like we should all have a little bit more empathy. And even if the girl would have said, yeah, I'm the best thing since sliced bread, y'all would be like, oh, she's not humble, she doesn't understand the grit and what it, like, everybody always has something to say. So that's why at the end of the day, the internet is not real, and you just got to take it with a grain of salt, because people lose empathy behind a screen.
But we love you, Asia.
It's just like, damn.
Yes.
Let me not say that, actually.
What are you going to say? Like,
no.
Keep it a step.
Like, I was going to say, if it was somebody else tweeting behind the screen that they were having a hard time, y'all wouldn't have had a problem with it. Okay.
Pew, 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 pew. Shout out Asia. You were doing amazing. You are a great role model and a great example. Love it. Okay, so now I'm gonna just quickly get into my NFL predictions for this week. So we're gonna start with Cowboys versus Steelers. I think it's safe to say that this is Justin Fields' team. I don't want to say right now we don't need Russell Wilson, but Russell Wilson's taking a long time to get back on track. And at this point, I think Justin Fields has the confidence. He has solidified his position. And I think now that he's getting started, why would we take off the wheels if the engine already started running? Like, he's already got his momentum. I'm excited to see what he's going to do versus the Cowboys. I talked about it earlier. His stats versus the Colts. He made franchise history. He had 300 passing yards, 50 rushing yards, and 2 rushing touchdowns. He's the first to do that. So he's already making history, setting records. As we saw, Micah Parsons is officially ruled out for this game versus the Steelers. Our defense is already doing well. I hope it goes to be a good game, but I really do think the Steelers have it. If they don't, I need to make a bet with y'all because I'd be sick, but I think we got this game. Next one is the Bills versus Texans. Me personally, I'm pretty disappointed with the Bills' performance last week versus the Ravens. We knew that the Ravens were going to put up a little bit more of a fight, but I didn't think that the Bills were going to lose it. But then again, the Ravens is a great team. They had a little bit of a rocky start, but I think they're going to get that momentum back. But as far as the Bills, on the Texans side, this is Stephon Diggs' revenge game. Do I think he's going to get revenge? Kind of. I think, you know, when you look at like the spread and the bets, like people are saying the Texans because they're playing in Texas. Me personally, I'm going to roll with that as well. I mean, shout out to the Bills. I don't think that Josh Allen is overrated. I think that he's an amazing quarterback. Like I said, he's got the arm and he can run. He's dual threat. He can do everything. But something about the Texans right now. CJ Stroud, I'm a big fan of him in his game. I think that he is doing phenomenal. Obviously, this is a great storyline because both teams are first in their division. But again, I'm going to go with the Texans. Again, the Saints versus Chiefs. It's really hard to go against the Chiefs, but they are having a couple injuries, but I don't know if it's going to be too much to make a dent negatively for them. Now, I want to go off on a limb and say that this is the one game that they're going to lose because you can't stay undefeated forever. And I think the Saints definitely have a lot of momentum right now. They've been doing pretty well, and we haven't expected them to get this far. Again, I think that their motivation is Super Bowls in New Orleans, so they want to bring it back to the crib. So I think that if the Chiefs lose a game, this will be one of those surprise games that we didn't expect, and I think that the Saints could possibly win. I'm going off on a limb by saying that, but we will see what happens. But that is all the time we have for today's episode. Y'all can #check out the stats so we can continue the discussion next week, and maybe your question or take will be featured. Make sure y'all stay tuned for the next episode. I told you we are training with UFC fighters. Should be interesting. Make sure y'all follow my girls on Instagram. I'm going to add their @ in the description below. But thanks for hanging out with me and checking out the stats. I'll see y'all next week.
What you want, nigga? Everything, nigga, super size. 2 Big Macs, like when they doing them 2 for $5.